Hi YouTube, welcome back to another review. Today I am taking a look at the copper Kershaw Natrix. So, like my new system, I'm going to start out with the specs and features. So this knife has an overall length of 6.5 inches, a blade length of 2.75 inches, handle length of 3.75 inches, blade thickness of 0.11 inches, and a handle thickness of 0.40. It is a drop point style blade, kind of a mixture of a drop point and a sheep's foot, but Blade HQ has it listed as a sheep's or a drop point, so that's what I went with. It is a plain grind with a plain edge with a flat grind. Handle material is D2. You can see that right here next to the model number and the Kai USA logo. And the handle, like I said, is copper. So it is raw copper, which means it'll patina. You can already see after one day or probably 2 or 3 days of carrying it, around this inside is starting to change colors, and around here, because I have really nasty sweaty hands, and I bet that changes it a lot quicker than normal hands do. So already changing colors. And it has a steel subframe lock, which is patented by Kershaw, I believe. A weight of 3.7 ounces, so pretty heavy for a small knife, but big thick slabs of copper. Kind of makes sense. It is tip up left or right hand carry with a deep carry pocket clip. Spring clip, so it goes in and out of the pocket really nice. It is on KVT ball bearings, like a lot of Kershaws are now. And they are metal caged. Sometimes they used to have the blue like plastic cages for the bearings. Now it is a bronze kind of stamp or something, or some type of metal that's stamped in a ring, and they seem to work pretty well. Now I'll get on to the appearance and design of the knife. So this is pretty much the same design as the O777 from Zero Tolerance, the Quadruple 7 or 7777, which I think is the bare knuckle by Kershaw also. Kind of just a bigger version of this. There's also bigger versions of this in G10 and even a Natrix XL that are all KVT ball bearing detent flippers. And I think there used to be some speed safe or speed assist. Speed safe, spring assist flippers. So they're kind of moving to the ball bearing flipper for these now. And it's kind of got a small flipper tab back here with jimping on it. It has a fuller in the blade, which isn't the greatest for D2 because it can be harder to clean inside there and it'll start to rust or change colors and stuff. Kind of get a little stained. It has an FRN or some type of nylon or fiberglass reinforced nylon or GRN, whatever everybody else calls it, but some type of plastic backspacer. And kind of a nice classic design, keeping in line with its family. It also probably looks like a small version of the Microtech Matrix, and that's why it's called the Natrix, is because pretty common knowledge now that Microtech stole this design from Kershaw, blatantly ripped it off, and tried to make it their knife, which is, I say that's theft, but they stole the design, named it the Matrix, and started making it and selling it before Zero Tolerance actually got their O777 out on the market. And so Kershaw, which is also part of ZT, in a response said, okay, well, how about we just take our design back, name it a Natrix, which is the name of a snake, like kind of like the scientific name or something of a snake. So a little bit of a jab back at them, which is pretty funny. I liked the back and forth, and I I feel like Kershaw came back on top because Kershaw's probably made more money off the Natrix than Marfione ever did off the Natrix or the Matrix. So I feel like they came out on top in the end. So some of the goods, it came sharp. Yeah, I have a little bit of paper here. I can cut it. Oh. Pretty sharp, not amazing, not razor blade sharp, but whatever, sharp enough for a knife to come from the factory. If you really need a sharp edge, you can probably do it yourself or get somebody else to sharpen it, but it cuts from the factory, so that's nice. The steel upgrade, I think normally they have like 12C or it might be 8CR13. Not very great blade steel, but upgrading to D2, it'll be a little stronger, less corrosion resistant. So like I said, in that fuller you might get a little bit of like a staining or a little rust pitting, but should have better edge retention, a little stronger of a steel. It's got a nice strong detent. Like you've seen, flips out very nice with a lot of authority. It can be very strong if you kind of hold on to the lock bar a lot, so you got to watch out about that. The pocket clip is very effective. You can see deep carry to the point where it's past the back of the knife, so it really hides in the pocket. Goes in and out of the pocket nice with that ramp right there. It's kind of a big ramp, but it's not bad. Nothing's ever bothered me about it. There's 4 screws down in there because those are all used to hold on the subframe lock, but they've never really gotten in the way of the pocket, so I don't really mind those. The fuller is nice, other than the fact that it might rust in there, but you can finger flick it, so that's just another way to open it, and it gives it a nice look. Feels good in the hand. I can only get about 3 fingers, maybe a little bit right there, but it still feels pretty good. It's a nice, comfortable design. It's got jimping back here, but just the way your hand falls in with your thumb falling into this groove up here, fingers falling in up here, like very good hand feel, no hot spots or anything. Definitely a good design, and surprising that it can be changed to so many different sizes and still feel good in the hand, because I felt, I think I felt the 0777, I haven't felt a bare knuckle yet, I felt a Matrix, I felt the full-size Natrix so far, so they all feel good in the hand, so that's really surprising. It also has a non-spinning lock side of the pivot, which is nice, so all you have to do is just unscrew that side of the pivot and it pops off. And very nice and compact. You can see it's pretty small. Oh my god, I'm bleeding. Okay, there's 2 videos in a row, everybody, where I'm bleeding on camera, but I guess I don't need to show you guys that up close again. So, yeah, that's pretty much just my wore down finger from flipping this so many times, but that'll be in the gripes. So starting off the gripes, the jimping is pretty sharp back here. It's not crazy sharp. It didn't cut me, but it is sharp enough to where if you're flipping it all day enough and you have dry hands, it can kind of rip into your skin. So I just got over that cut from my last video where I had to carry a thumb stud knife or a thumb knife for the last couple days, but guess I'm going back to that. Yeah, see, I can flip it with there. That doesn't hurt my finger at all or anything. It's just if you already have a cut on your finger, it could rip it open. So it's not too bad, but it is a little sharp, and it might help with the flipping since it is kind of a small tab and a strong detent. So it probably does do a lot of help, but I guess it's just a little too sharp for me. Also, the centering, you can probably see that it's a little off. When I got it, it was more off than that, and then after flipping it for a few days, it got even more off from center. But I took it all apart, I cleaned it out, I Re-put it all together with, okay, I can't flip it very well with my left hand, but I put it back together with like the Rick Hinderer trick, I think, where you kind of hold it over and then tighten all the hardware down. So it helped center it a little bit, but not perfect. So something about the machining or tolerances might be a little off, but as long as it stays there and doesn't go too much over, I'll probably need to Loctite that down where it is now so it doesn't start walking over, but that's another little thing that might not be the best about it. And it is completely covered in Loctite. So like I said, I'll probably Loctite the pivot down, but I think it was this screw I tried to undo, or maybe this one, and I just couldn't get it out. I ended up kind of stripping the screw a little bit, and I think the pocket clip screws also were like completely secured with Loctite, white Loctite it looked like when I took the pivot apart, because the pivot also had Loctite, but I don't know. Pretty annoying that they'd Loctite it that hard, but I mean, taking it apart, cleaning it, and then putting your own Loctite, like blue Loctite on it, wouldn't be too bad. Kind of annoying when they just completely lock a knife down from when you get it. So if you have a soldering iron or whatever, you can stick it to it, and that should loosen it up a little bit. Or boiling water, a lot of people do. So now for some comparisons. Paramilitary 2, the Natrix, and something very comparable is a liner lock Browse blades Bionic. Close to the same size, both D2 blades, both have fullers, so they're pretty similar. If you have a Browse blades Bionic, you'll probably like the Natrix. The Natrix does flip better, I think, because the way the flipper tab is done, they kind of did a better shape geometry to it, where this one, that flipper geometry is kind of off, where it's just a point sticking right into your finger, and then if you do flip it, your finger goes right down to this jimping, and it doesn't feel very good. But yeah, the Natrix definitely did a better job at that. No jimping back behind where the flipper is, and just a better flipper shape. And then I'll hold it next to the Paramilitary 2, just because that is a very common knife. So most people have at least held a Paramilitary 2, so you can see the difference. Very big difference in size, thickness. Blade thickness is a lot smaller. Handle thickness is a little smaller. Trying not to get my bloody finger all in the camera, but yep. So it's about good enough for a comparison. Now my final thoughts and recommendations. So I think you should buy it, definitely. It's kind of hard to buy because they sell out so quickly. I bought it from GP Knives, and the site kept crashing. I don't know if it was because of the knife or if they were switching servers or something, but it kept crashing. I was able to get in real quick and buy one, and then next time I checked, they were out, or they were sold out. Blade HQ is sold out now, so kind of hard to get one, but if you do find one, I think it is a good deal, about $50 for it. And then it's kind of more of a novelty knife. I don't think I'd carry a copper knife for hard use every day. Copper's not very strong. It's also pretty heavy. Your hand's going to smell like pennies. If you've ever held copper or brass or anything like that, you know it's going to make your hands smell. So it'll smell like you're carrying around a pile of change all day. But if you can get over that, kind of for the novelty of it and the coolness of it patinaing and changing over time. So that's why I bought it, really, was just to see it change over time. I like that. Seeing the patina after a while. And another little recommendation, if you do buy one and you're able to go see it in person at a knife store or something, probably just check the quality, see if it's centered. That might help you out a little bit, make sure that you get a better one. Just so you don't get one that's like super off-centered, but that's about all I have. thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other videos and like and subscribe. And hopefully I don't bleed on the next video, but I guess we'll see.